So MongoDB is something that we will install to our computer as system software. So it's much like Node. We're not going to say npm install MongoDB. It's not a Node module package like that we're going to install. We're going to install it globally on our computer. It's going to have a directory on our hard drive, and we're going to use Homebrew to install it. Now, Homebrew was installed their first day when you ran the bash command. It's the package manager we use to install npm and Node. And so we're going to use it to install MongoDB. And something that's kind of hard to get when you're first working with databases is that when you're developing, your database only exists locally. It is on your hard drive. So even though we're saving stuff to a database, it's on your hard drive. It is not accessible to other people until you deploy your database to a remote server so that it can be accessed by multiple people. Meaning, once we have MongoDB installed and we're running a full stack app, we actually have 3 servers running. We have MongoDB running on a server so that it can always be listening for requests. We have our server running on a port as well, so it can be listening for front-end requests. And then we have our front-end application running on its own development server. So we won't have to stop and start the MongoDB server. We're going to start it and let it run forever because it's on a port in one of the 27,000s. It's in a very large port number that we'll never use. So we'll still only have to start the front and back end servers, but MongoDB will be running on a server locally as well. All right, everybody, let's see if we have Brew installed. So you can open up your terminal. You can be anywhere in your terminal to do this, but what you need to type is brew-v. Yeah, just stop the server, or you can keep that running if you wanted to. Just make sure you're in a terminal window. And you should see this. If Homebrew was installed when you run brew-v, does anyone not see this? It might be a different version number, but does everyone get it? Or does anyone get the brew command not found? Great. If you get that if Homebrew wasn't installed. So we're just making sure it's installed before we use it to install stuff with. Okay. If you get the version number, now everybody run this command, brew update. And this will take anywhere between 30 seconds and 5 minutes. So everyone run brew update, and it's going to look like it's doing nothing. We're just going to let it sit and figure things out. It goes through and updates all of our dependencies, brew versions, make sure everything's up to date. Or it will eventually here as well. Mine's just pausing for a second. Oh, this? Yeah, it's the same console, but yeah. It will look slightly different if we're just in regular bash. So you can do it here, you can do it here, either or. And we're gonna let that sit. Recording then. So now now that brew has been updated, let's all run the command brew install mongodb. Brew space install space MongoDB. And hit enter. All right, so this installation process is going. If yours cancels out for some reason, it could be that multiple are doing this at the same time. And so if it breaks or doesn't work for some reason, just try it again, but it should work. This one time. We're installing this just like we installed Node. It's on your computer, just like installing a program. And it gives you lots of cool little system tools. You can start installing Python packages, things like that. Yeah, this is a system software. This is like installing Photoshop or Slack or something. It's on your computer now. But because we're not using NPM. That's an NPM convention. This is a homebrew install. And yeah, MongoDB is a backend database provider. So any backend language can be used with it. So we can use Python, JavaScript, Java, C, Sharp. All those languages can be interacted with Mongo. We're gonna use JavaScript though. All right, and eventually you'll get back to this. So let's make sure we're all getting here. Okay, so MongoDB is installed, but we need to start its server. And again, we're never gonna stop its server. We just want its service to always be working, always be on, so that if we're using a local database, it's able to use it. So the last command everyone needs to run is brew services start MongoDB. This line right here. Brew services start MongoDB. And hit return. And then it should say successfully started MongoDB, and you're good. Did anyone not get successfully started MongoDB? Right. Now, if you didn't want to say brew start this service, the other command to start and stop MongoDB's server is by saying Mongodb, M-O-N-G-O-D. If you say Mongodb, it will just start the service, and you could say, Mongodb stop, I believe, to stop it. But we just want it to always be running, so we run the brew service.
MongoDB have like docs.
Yep, you can, everything we're about to do with Mongoose to interact with our database can all be done through the command line using Mongo commands. Mongoose is just a nice, pretty framework sitting on top of those commands. So we can say mongoose dot, do something, and it runs the MongoDB commands for us. And it also enforces rigidity, where without Mongoose, we could save whatever we want to any collection at any time, which isn't always the best, or is never the best. All right, everyone get it installed? We got this going? Okay, let's stop this video then.